today is gone. Forget about tomorrow and the ceilings you see right through. Find the moment and make it. Write your headline and raise it to the sky. No one else can create it. Take your banner and raise it to the sky.
We're at that point now where we're getting excited. Splashing back into the water is happening soon. Below the waterline, there are many projects to complete. In this episode, we're going to jump from one project to another to check off all the below the waterline tasks. First, we need to lift up the boats so that we could sand the bottom of the keels, paint them, as well as the spots where the poppets sit on the bottom of the hulls. And since the boat was being lifted up anyway, we took this opportunity to put the rudder stocks back in the holes. We actually liked the boat being up so high while we were painting the keels. As you can see, it made it much easier than trying to bend over and contort ourselves to get into all of those corners. The pink product we're rolling on Dauntless's keels is the barrier coat from Magic Antifoul. More on that in a bit. We put 2 coats of the barrier on the keels before applying 3 coats of bottom paint. Now, time for some keel art. We wanted our tagline that inspires us on our keels as we sailed through the water, going to new places and making new memories. So I called VSP Marketing Group again, the company that did our logo for the bow, and asked them to cut me some stencils of just the words from our logo. Stick the stencil on, paint it, peel it off. In theory, seems simple enough, right?
So we've got a blue tape drip edge trying to keep the water from running down the side of the hull onto the keels so that we can paint
With water cured.
with a moisture cured product. So Ty is sacrificing his back and head.
Boatyard, I needed a bath anyway.
Yeah. Be careful with your... Whoa. Watch when you come back out of there so that roller doesn't get dripped on.
All my seat's wet.
Yeah, you're not sitting there anymore. Sorry. Drip, drip, drip. Right on the seat.
I suppose I probably should have checked the spelling before I put it on.
Just kidding. I checked the spelling when I approved the proof. So how many times are you going to go over it until you really can't see the shadow of black anymore?
That's my goal. I'm not gonna put the can again.
So the other problem with this hull coating is that, of course, it's moisture cured. So as soon as you open it up, the humidity in the air is actually starting its curing process.
Well, and we're nearly 100% humidity. So it's not really fair to the product. All right, let's go peel.
You're going to peel it already? Really? You don't want to let it set up at all?
I don't want it to set up too much, and then we go to pull through. We let it set up too much, and we go to pull through, and it grabs the surface and then peels it off the boat. We don't want to do that either. So I'm pretty much guessing.
Cool. Well, if you're gonna guess, let's guess on someplace where, like on the ... after the not dreams.
I can paint that back on.
Right, that's what I'm saying, start small. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Be so careful. shit. I'm gonna have to stop filming and help.
Thank goodness cleaning up the smudges from the stencil removal was easy. Alright, so
Ty is making more holes. Actually, it's not really a hole in the boat, but it's a repair. So when we sanded off all of the bottom paint to get down to fresh gel so that we could have a nice barrier coat for pink barrier coat, black new bottom paint, we discovered that there was a patch that was done. And so, tell me about it.
So it was below all the bottom paint, so it was obviously from when it was in charter. Some customer hit something, and they patched it, and the patch looked really good. But as we sounded the hull, there was a dead spot, so that's what it sounded like. So I knew we had to do it. I've been dragging my feet, but we're getting ready to do our bottom job on our boat, and so I wanted to make sure that I got this handled the next day or so, so we could put our bottom job. I could do our bottom job. So I started getting in, and I cut the square out, and whatever impact or damage that happened there, it's still wet on the inside. And they just patched it in the yard and probably threw it back in the water to get it back in charter. So I don't know how long it's been wet. The bottom of our boat is all glass, so from just below the water line down on lagoons, they're all solid glass. So there's no core, wet core or anything like that. But we have to get all of the damage cut out, and then we're going to let it dry for a day or so, so that we can grind it back and get a good bite and lay some more glass in here. Probably 4 or 5 layers, 6 layers of biaxial, and then we will sand it and fair it back in again. Although Kim wasn't thrilled with yet another repair, she handled it like a champ with a positive attitude. Of course, it didn't hurt that the bottom paint was next. So what are you doing?
I have to put barrier coat, pretty pink. I have to put barrier coat inside where the sail drives are.
And why is that?
So that I keep any water from going up in to prevent osmosis?
Yes.
Or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's for protection.
I can see that you're dressed for protection. Awesome. You gonna do this one first?
Sure.
All right.
I would like to point out that I don't know what I'm doing. So. Sitting down's too short and standing up too tall. She didn't end up making too much of a mess, but I do think she might have been a little overdressed for the project. After watching a Zatara episode a while back about their magic bottom paint, I knew that that's what I wanted for Dauntless. So I contacted Magic Antifoul and spoke with Matt, and we were fortunate enough to get some of the last test batch of the anti-fouling. We were also able to get some of their test product for their prop coating as well, called Triton prop. We'll update you on this performance after we've been in the water for a bit.
Are you excited?
Excited, nervous. I once painted our bedroom, and we did an accent wall that was this cherry cobbler red. I love it.
It was the early 2000s.
It was gorgeous. Problem was,
It looked like a murder.
it looked like a massacre. And I really haven't painted a whole lot. I've not been trusted to paint a whole lot since then.
I think we should leave it like this. We should just do like 5 more coats of paint and it'll be fine. Right?
Yeah.
The rudders. Ugh. This is an exciting day.
Last street. Maybe if I could get a good angle. First coat done! Woohoo! Go team! No?
Yes.
Go team!
Go team!
Yay!
Great. Let's check the front. Like on the keels, 2 coats of pink barrier coat, which made Sid happy, and then 3 coats of magic anti-foul. Applying it was tricky, since the humidity was so high. It meant that the anti-foul was curing in the tray faster than we could get it on the holes. With a little coaching and some tips and tricks from Matt and his dad over at Magic Anti-Foul, we were able to get it on the boat. In the final push to get on the water, we are servicing our sail drives. And we figured, well, actually, it's Sid's idea. We probably should make a video on this. So, sail drives obviously turn the props off the engines, and their service is actually pretty simple. The only thing that sucks is you have to do it out of the water. All we're gonna be doing is changing seals and some O-rings, changing the oil. Okay, so it's a little more than that. So we need to put grease on the seals. This keeps the salt water out and the oil in. Over top of that, we'll press in the race. This holds the back of the bearings tight and keeps the shaft running straight and smooth. After that, we'll be able to slide the rear assembly over the drive shaft onto the sail drive and bolt it in place.
Driving the boat.
Next up, I make the molds for the underwater light mounts. A little foam board laminated together with some Super 77 glue became my mold. After checking the shape and making some final sculpting modifications, the modules are ready for glass.
Whoa.
Yeah, fiberglass is over it.
Almost.
A layer of fairing over the foam will help protect it from melting when applying the glass and the resin. I use chopped strand mat and poly resin, which gets pretty hot, to get the shape of the mold, and then some biaxial fiberglass and epoxy for strength. Then, the surrounding area was ground and faired to allow the epoxy and fiberglass to adhere to the bottom of the hull. Then, test fit again before being epoxied from the bottom, and then taped up so it could cure. Once all that was done, the glass was laid to seal it in. Then it was sanded and ready for bottom paint. Then on to installing the underwater lights.
A little faster. Slow and steady pressure. Put it in reverse. And spin it fast. There you go.
Sydney, you drilled a hole in my boat.
Good
You have to
job.
live with it.
How thick that is. Yeah, 1/4 inch thick. Alright. So now we need to get somebody inside so that we can feed the wire from here up to the other hole that's in here. Because remember, we just drilled a hole at the bottom of this, the bottom of the boat, and then we glassed over top of it so that this goes in there. Roger Dodger. We're going to feed a wire through, tape it on, and pull it back through. Can you do that? Let's do it.
Underwater lights.
Why are you still filming me? Stalker. This is exciting. What are you doing?
So I am spraying our Triton prop on our props and our cones. And Matt at Magic Anti-Foul said that they're having good luck spraying it, so we're doing a test for them. So we're gonna spray the props and the cones, and then I'm actually gonna brush the sail drives and the lights. Join us next week when we'll make the final push to get out of the boatyard. We'll be scrambling to fix a last-minute window that was about to fall out, standing the mast, and making new friends with the crew from Parlay Revival.